Hello, and welcome to this video with 3 reasons why I think random voltages are ace. We'll be using RANDOM8 from Mylar Melodies and Befaco. Here's what's to come. In this video, we'll be exploring 3 patches showing just some of the reasons why I love random voltages, and doing that in a way that builds in intensity in how we're using the random voltages. I'll say thank you to Mylar Melodies and Befaco for sending the module over, and let's go through the RANDOM8 just really top level and quickly here. You should of course check out the details in the Mylar Melodies videos, which I'll link down below. So RANDOM8 is 8 channels of looping random voltages in 8 HP. The middle socket is a trigger input that normals down the panel, and the left hand socket is your output for your random voltages. When you're not in a menu here, you have a mini pot to attenuate the output, and that also selects things as you go through the menu. Each channel has a button to lock and loop the pattern that it's creating, and when you press that again in lovely Turing machine style, these will vary over time. Pressing it again will then lock and loop that voltage or that pattern of voltages, and you double press to come out of that looping or varied looping state. And then each button here has a menu or a secondary function, all with labels on the panels, and you simply hold that to select it. You can then move that setting for that channel, and you press it again to come out of the menu. And going top down, these offer presets, clock division, probability, style for different noise curves and behaviors, offset voltages to offset that output, scale to set quantizer note masks, slide for slew and smooth outputs, and steps to set how many steps a looping pattern will work within, which goes up to 32 steps. As I said, head to Mylar Melodies videos for a deeper look at RANDOM8. We'll be focusing on this kind of 3 patches video style that we have as a kind of ongoing series here, and we're going to focus on why random voltages are so good, taking a slower approach to demonstrate those patches and to explore them with you. Those patches have been on screen and I'll link down below, so skip around and let's dive in. So for this first patch, I really want to forget that we're talking about RANDOM8 specifically in this video at all, and to really just go through the concept of why I think random voltages are so important and so good for a modular system. Even for anyone watching that's thinking, I don't really like random. Well, I think this adds a lot, and kind of here's why. That's the purpose of this example here, with a really simple synth voice. I do have some drums. Let's mute those in the mix for now. And turning down these attenuators. Here is my synth voice, pulse wave oscillator, low pass filter, VCA, and the same envelope to the filter and VCA. This then also goes into my effects here. It's a nice delay there on Cosmic Debris. Now, this sounds good. It's simple, it's a nice analog voice, but we can really get this moving very subtly or more extreme and perform with our modulation here. And one of the first things I like to do with stepped random voltages is to modulate a filter cutoff alongside an envelope. So if I turn up the first channel here, my clocking, that's clocking my delay, is clocking my envelope that controls the filter and VCA. That same clock here on these orange cables clocks all of the RANDOM8 channels here. Turning up the first channel, this green tracing cable is modulating the filter's cutoff. The second channel will then modulate my envelope time. It's actually going to shorten the fall time here on the envelope. So I might start from a slightly longer time and let the modulation add and shorten that. So already just with 2 random voltages, I think it's a much more engaging patch. Without them, with them, tonal movement, and movement on those note lengths. The third channel, red cables and red trace, will modulate the pulse width modulation on the oscillator. So now per note, we have a random pulse width, filter setting that the envelope adds to, and envelope time. The fourth output, yellow cable and trace, will actually send my sound into these effects, just like turning the mix up here. It's going to add in and send into the effects with how this effects module is set. Let's turn this up full and get a really clear example of what it's doing. So some notes will send into the effects, some a lot, some none at all, some a little. And I might even make this more extreme with more channels here, as I think this is working really well. Let's modulate the resonance on the filter. So I'll turn the resonance all the way down, patch this across to the resonance here. Let's start with that down and just introduce it slowly here. And we could say start to pan the sound around. We can do that on the stereo strip. So if I pan this to the left, as these voltages are unipolar, they're going to add to that. I'll let the voltages add and pan it back to the right. I hope that's been a clear example for more subtle or kind of extreme use as to why even for basic patches, I think random voltages are really, really good. So here I'm letting RANDOM8 effectively drive the whole patch, or all of the synth parts in the patch at least. Again, I have some drums here. These are sequenced externally, and I'm running the clock from this sequencer into the top input on RANDOM8 there. And then I started building up this synth line, and it's the same audio path, the same kind of basic synth patch as the last example. It's a pulse wave, this time with an LFO modulating pulse width, but it's the pulse wave oscillator into a low pass, into a VCA, and that's coming into the mixer here. I'm using the VCA for side chaining, so if I mute my drums, hopefully you can hear this whoop, 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 kind of heavy pumping. And then on top of that line, I have a secondary synth voice from Tides here going through the cosmic debris. That's again side chained. And we'll go through all that secondary voice, but let's start with the main synth line here. So starting from scratch, this is the pulse into the low pass here. I'm using a shuffled clock, so you'll hear this swing. It's just a clock pattern triggering my first envelope, opening this filter here. And that comes into the VCA, where I'm offsetting a quarter note envelope into the level of the VCA to get that to pump up and down. And that's everything that's happening here outside of RANDOM8. And the first thing I did was to actually get a pitch sequence happening. And I've added a quantizer to that, but other than that, all we're really going to do here is look at looping and locking sequences. I'll get into the quantizing in a moment. If I just turn up this top channel that controls my volt per octave pitch, I'm just waiting to hear something that I like, and I'm going to press the button and that will lock and loop that repetitively. I can attenuate that. And what's nice is you have your random source that's then locked in motion. You then attenuate it, then quantize it. So I can play with the attenuation without losing the actual quantized musical pitch information. The attenuator is what feeds into the quantizer rather than attenuates it afterwards, which would then mess up the quantizing. So here's a good time to actually look at quantizing, and we simply hold the scale button. They've all got different functions here, but holding scale, that takes us into that mode, and then turning the dial for any of those channels sets that quantizer scale. We can go from non to chromatic, and then various major and minor scales. I can maybe put them on screen, but I'm not too concerned. I'm just listening for one that I like, as opposed to really thinking about what scale I'm using here. And I think this one works, so just pressing that button, it's still flashing the scale button there. We're back to where we were. I can double tap to unlock. As soon as I hear something I like, I'm going to hit that button again. So pressing that, let's scale this back. It's quite cool. The second one is then modulating my filter. So blue cables and blue trace here will add a voltage on top of the envelope to the low pass filter. And again, we're building kind of musical patterns here by locking them. So when I hear something I like again, and I like random moving around, but the repetition is good. Repetition legitimizes, as Adam Neely would say. Let's lock this. So locked and looping pitch information, and locked and looping filter modulation. Let's just bring the kick drum in on top of this. And just 2 locked looping sequences and we're off. If you tap the lock button again though, or rather the channel button that locks it here, it will flash and that will let variation come in, much like a Turing machine, say, that can be locked fully repetitive or varied slightly and then locked again, or fully unlocked. To unlock again, you double tap. So let's get another pitch sequence here. Let's lock that. The third output then starts to get into my secondary voice here. Let's go to the second voice. Now this just playing as it is, this is tied through an external VCA into cosmic debris. Let's lose all the reverb for now. And the VCA, the external VCA to tides, just has a 16th note envelope, the same one that's clocking RANDOM8 there. And I just have random voltages to the shape, the slope, and the smooth or folding on tide, just for lots of tonal variation. So if I just turn up the red, yellow, and the first pink channel there, you can hear these tones being shifted all over. And while that's quite fun, certainly against a locked sequence in this part, let's lock these as well and get them being repetitive. And then the final one, I have the level on tides, so this is internal VCA before the VCA with an envelope. I'm actually going to use a stepped random voltage for level as well. So we've got loud and quiet notes, lots of tonal shift, some shape on that external VCA, and I'm just playing with either really washing this out in loads of sidechain reverb or letting that come through. Let's bring in the bass again and the kick. And let's build up the mix again. Scale to set a quantized scale for that channel, and then I'm otherwise tapping to lock, tapping to let it vary, and double tapping to fully unlock. Really simple, really powerful. So in this third patch here, it's all about embracing the random and letting the random steps, RANDOM8 in this case, run literally everything. Not just most of it, like the last example, other than a looping function here, which is the kind of mechanism for clocking and adjusting my level, my pitch changes, tone changes, panning and effects are all modulated by random voltages here. And this patch is working on the idea of a Krell patch, and I have a video with Todd Barton, the person that originated and created the Krell patch, that I'll link down below. If I just attenuate these down to nothing, this is the basic mechanism of the patch. I have a looping envelope, a looping function generator here, that controls the level of my sound, simply rising and falling. Every time that rises again, you can see on this LED cable a gate signal is generated, and that's used as a clock here. And that's going to create all these random voltages that not only change the tone and pitch, panning and effects, but influence that initial function generator that is just this looping rise and fall. I'll pitch a little bit higher here. In fact, let's just fold some more harmonics in. And as I introduce some level to these first two channels, that's the red and blue trace here. These voltages come back into the function generator and create faster or slower and faster or slower rise and fall times. And that's the green trace here, again controlling the level. The next thing I did was to add a pitch sequence, turning that up, and this is set to be a harmonic minor. I've actually changed the steps here, so if I hold steps, turn to this mode, we can see how many steps I have as I start moving that dial. You can see here 5 steps. Let's go down to just 3. Hit steps to confirm. We'll hit scale, or hold scale rather. Let's maybe go to a major scale, which I know is that third one. Let's find a new pattern. Then as I bring up the first tonal element here on these orange cables, that's also split here in my mult and it's controlling the panning on the stereo strip. So just to recap, this is a looping function generator, it's clocking RANDOM8, that's then sending random voltages back to the rise and fall time on the looping function generator. Each time it loops, we get a new pitch that's locked to a short major quantized pattern, and the rest of them here are controlling the pan and some tone. Let's add some more tonal variation here. And the bottom two send into my effects, the cosmic debris here, and control the feedback on these effects. We've got this lovely generative ambient Krell patch. From the more subtle kind of animation and life that you can add to more basic patches, to letting it actually create your whole sequences, locking pitch patterns and locking modulation to jam with it like a kind of music making jam machine. And for this, for fully generative, fully random, generative ambient Krell. Thanks for watching. I hope you love random voltages as much as I do. Check out more with RANDOM8 and Mylar Melodies videos that are linked down below. Head to patreon.com/DivKid to support what we do, and I'll see you next time. Bye!